Now, today, though, the left, a bunch of activists have been piling on Tasmanian Liberal Senator Claire Chandler after she introduced a bill into Parliament banning transgender women from competing in women's sports. It's called the Save Women's Sport Bill, and it comes as debate rages over US transgender female swimmer Leah Thomas, who formerly competed as a male but broke numerous female records during an Ivy League championship event last Thursday. Similar issues have arisen in Australia relating to transgender women in body contact sports, not to mention concerns, of course, about the use of change rooms. Prime Minister Scott Morrison has thrown his support behind the bill.
I think it's a terrific bill, and I've given her great encouragement. I mean, Claire is a champion for women's sport, and I think she's been right to raise these issues in the way that she has. Well done, Claire.
Let's catch up with Senator Claire Chandler now. She joins me live from Hobart. Thanks for joining us again, Claire. We've talked to you about these issues before. It's great that you've got the bill into Parliament and the Prime Minister supporting it. Why do you think some people find it so controversial?
Oh, look, it completely baffles me, Chris, why this should be a controversial proposition in Australia now. All my bill is seeking to do is ensure that women and girls have the right to single-sex sport. And we know that under current interpretations of the Sex Discrimination Act, that's not possible. So my bill proposes a very small change to ensure that sports clubs and administrators can't have legal action taken against them for offering single-sex women's sport. It's a common-sense proposition, as you and I discussed on your show many times before. And I did find some of the mischaracterisation of what my bill is about in the media pretty puzzling today.
Yeah, I think it is common sense, and it gives people the option, it gives sporting competitions the option to exclude people, as they have to be allowed to do. It's about protecting women and girls. It's not about excluding transgender people. I know many sporting organisations where transgender people are involved in all sorts of roles, and you know, Australians are tolerant, and that works well. But there have been these instances, such as we're seeing in the US at the moment, where women are effectively denied the ability to excel in their own sport because they're up against somebody who is biologically male.
Absolutely, Chris. And I think the really interesting point is that while Leah Thomas has sort of catalysed this issue in a very relevant way for us at the moment, this has been happening in Australia, and I've been contacted by numerous parents of girls playing sport, female athletes, all concerned about the erosion of women's sport and the inclusion of biological males in women's sport. But it's important to note that when these people contact me, they're making a pretty big risk in doing so, because we all know how vitriolic the abuse can be that is directed towards people, particularly women, who speak out about this. So I'm certainly very careful about going into specific examples, but I can assure you, Chris, and your viewers here tonight, that this is absolutely happening in Australia.
Yeah, I just want to go to Catherine Deves, someone you know and has worked with you on this bill. She founded a group called Saves Women's Sport Australasia, and she's spoken to us about these issues a couple of times on the program. Here's some of Catherine Deves from last year.
No one has ever said that a person who declares a trans identity is not entitled to play sport. They absolutely are, but I think that we need to acknowledge that there are biological differences between men and women, and particularly when it comes to sports like volleyball, basketball, netball, which we would regard as contact sports. There's a risk of serious injury before you even get to the collision sports like AFL and rugby, where we're going to end up with a young woman or a young girl dead on the field because our sports authorities have abdicated their responsibility to protecting women and girls.
Yeah, Catherine Deves there. Obviously, that safety issue is so crucial, as well as the right for women to be able to excel and compete against other women, as well as some of the other concerns around change rooms that must weigh heavily on the minds of parents.
Absolutely, and there were two other really important points that Catherine made there that I want to comment on, Chris. And the first is that she's absolutely right in saying that no one is saying that trans people shouldn't be able to play sport. There are, of course, many different forums that everyone can participate in sport, whether it's mixed competition, social competition, open competition, whatever that may be. But we have to preserve women's sport for females wherever possible. And the other really important point that she made was that, we do see serious safety and fairness ramifications for women on the sporting field, and we do need to make sure that women's sport is protected so that they can compare safely and freely.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Claire. Congratulations on doing it. I know you get a lot of criticism, but I think most people think it just makes common sense. Appreciate your time.
Thanks very much, Chris. Cheers.
Senator Claire Chandler there joining us live from Hobart.